What is a circuit? You might have heard the word circuit used in different ways. For example, buses often follow a circuit of stops through a town. Politicians might go on a speaking circuit to different cities. An athlete might complete a circuit of training exercises. What do they all have in common? They all begin and end in the same place. It makes sense that the word circuit is related to the word circle. Goes around in a circle. All those different options go in a circle. A closed electric circuit also makes a loop, a circle or a loop. Most electrical circuits have solid metal wire, a power source, a switch, and a device that uses the power. All of these parts conduct electricity. In other words, tiny particles called electrons can flow through the circuit. The steady flow of electrons is called an electric circuit. So a closed circuit makes a circle. That's a very important part of what we're learning today. A closed electric circuit makes a circle. So it has to have wires, a power source like a battery or an outlet, a switch to turn it on and off, and a device that uses it. Otherwise, you wouldn't know if it was working. So you need a light or a buzzer or something in it so that you know that it's working. So they all conduct electricity. None of them stop the flow of electrons. They just let them keep going. For electric current to flow through a circuit, the loop has to be closed. That means the circuit has to be complete. You can't have it broken anywhere. This means it must begin and end in the same place without any breaks in the loop. There must be a source of electricity. This could be a battery or a wall socket that brings in current from power lines connected to the building.
Have you ever looked behind a wall in your home to observe the maze of wires leading to outlets and light fixtures? Perhaps you've noticed the many wires in the engine of a car or truck. If you've ever seen the inside of a radio or computer, you may have seen wires there connected to various devices. And if you've ever taken a walk around your neighborhood or a drive, chances are you've seen electrical poles supporting long strands of wires. These are all examples of electric circuits. Electric circuits are very important to our daily lives. Every time you flip a light switch, turn on a computer, or watch television, you're using electric circuits. During the next few minutes, we're going to take a look at some of the characteristics and types of electric circuits, while exploring how electricity moves through them.
Examine the circuits in the diagram below. Select the circuit that will cause the bulb to light up. So we know that it needs to have a power source, wires, a bulb, and it also has to make a complete circle. So think about what's wrong with letter A. It has a battery, has a wire, and it has a bulb, but it's not a closed circuit. All of it is in a straight line. So this one is not going to light up. It has to go around and hit the battery on the other side. Think about what's wrong with B. That's right, there's just a bulb with some wires attached to it. If there's no power source, then the electrons aren't going to flow through it. What about C? That's right, C is the one that's going to work because it has a battery. The electrons can flow through the wire up into the bulb, it lights it up, and it comes back around into the battery. It has to make a circle to be a complete circuit. It has to let the electrons flow in and out of the battery. So our answer is C. How can we control the flow of electricity in a circuit? Electrical circuits are important in our daily lives. They light our lights, power our computers, and make our cars work. But we need to be able to control the flow of electricity through the circuit. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to turn off the lights. We must be able to stop and start the flow of a current quickly. Which part of a circuit allows us to do that?
This time I'm going to try to use a buzzer and this switch. So I should be able to switch the buzzer on and off. So I'm going to need some more wires. I've got my wire here going from the battery to the buzzer. And now I need a wire going from the buzzer to the switch. Great. And now my circuit should be working. So I'll switch it on, and off. Can you see what the problem is? It's this wire, isn't it? This wire needs connecting as well. Oh, and I can see that the switch is on. I'll switch it off.
Now we have a closed circuit.
Now, I was wondering what this piece over here is, but I've got an idea, and I'm going to find out. I'm going to take this switch out of my circuit and see what happens when I put this piece in its place. Well, that's strange, nothing's happening. But I can see there's a gap here. I don't think the electricity can flow round. I think I need to close this gap and make a complete circuit again. This is a switch. It's just the same as this. It looks very different, but it works in the same way in the circuit. By closing the gap, it lets the electricity flow round. So somewhere inside here, there must be a little gap, and moving this switch opens and closes that gap, like it does here.
A switch is the most common way for people to open and close a circuit. A switch can be manual, such as a wall switch for lights. A switch can also be automatic, such as the internal switch on a thermostat, which signals the furnace to turn on and off when it gets too cold. Remember, electric current flows only if the circuit is complete. That's why when she was pushing down the switch and it connected the two pieces of metal, it made the circle complete. When it was open, there was a gap and it didn't make a complete circle. Turning off a switch causes a break in the circuit and stops the flow of electrons. Turning on the switch closes the circuit, allowing electrons to move through the circuit again. Even when a switch is on and current is flowing through the circuit, we don't want the current to escape from the wire. Touching a live wire will give you an electrical shock, and it could even kill you. This is because our bodies contain a lot of water, and water is a good conductor of electricity. So our bodies are conductors, which means electricity can flow through them. But if electricity flows through your body, it can also hurt you really bad. This is because our bodies contain a lot of water, which is a good conductor of electricity. A conductor is a material through which energy easily flows. Other good conductors of electrical energy are metals such as copper and aluminum. To protect people from electric shock, most electrical wires are coated with rubber or plastic. Rubber and plastic are good insulators. An insulator is a material through which energy does not flow easily. Insulators resist the flow of electricity. So if you think about your computer charger or your phone charger, it's not just a piece of metal wire. It's mostly a black or white piece of plastic that's around the outside of the wire, because that insulator keeps the electricity that goes through the wire from getting to your body. So it keeps you safe.
Let's look at a couple more words. Insulator and conductor. A garden hose is made of rubber. Water cannot pass through rubber, and electricity won't either. Most wires are covered with rubber to keep the electricity from escaping. Materials that electricity does not easily flow through are called insulators. Besides rubber, other kinds of insulators include glass, wood, and air. The opposite of an insulator is a conductor. Conductors are materials that electricity easily flows through. Electric wires are often made of copper. Copper is a good electric carrier or conductor, as are most metals, as well as water. To end today's language lesson, we have two last words. Complete.
All right, this is the last thing we're going to do today. 4 different materials are described below. Drag and drop each material into the correct category. So we have 3 different categories. One says that it's a good choice for a safe circuit, as in you're not going to get shocked. The second one is that it's likely to shock you. And the third one says that that won't conduct electricity, which means it's probably an insulator. So our first option, aluminum wire that's placed in water. Yep, that is going to shock you. An aluminum wire is a conductor, so the electricity can flow through it, and water is also a conductor. So if you have anything that is plugged into an outlet and it's in water, it's actually really dangerous. It can shock you and even kill you. So that is definitely going to cause an electric shock. What about a nylon rope wrapped around a tree? Think about nylon rope. Is a rope something that is a conductor or an insulator? You're right. A rope is an insulator. What about a tree? Is a tree a conductor or an insulator? Yeah, a tree is an insulator. So it's not going to conduct electricity, so it's not going to be safe or dangerous because it won't even conduct electricity. A copper wire covered in rubber. So in that video we just watched, we found out that most of the wires and cords that you have, like power cords, are actually copper wires that are covered in rubber. That way the electricity can't get out of the wire and onto you to hurt you. So this is exactly what a safe circuit is going to have in it. It's going to have a copper wire covered in rubber. And our last one says a fiber optic cable made of plastic. So if it's made of plastic, then that's the material we're looking at. Is the plastic a conductor or an insulator? Yep, plastic is an insulator. Mostly metals and water are different conductors, but plastic is an insulator. So it won't conduct electricity, therefore it's not going to be safe or not safe. So I would like for you guys to click the next link in our science lesson for today, and I want you to look through the next option for our, what's it called, a simulator. So these are different things with circuits that we were going to do in class with our hands and really build circuits, but since we can't do that, we're going to do it on a simulator. So make sure you click the next one and see which lesson to do. Thanks everyone, see you tomorrow, well, in 2 days.